All right, let's get this situated. Check, 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 Mike. All right, so we're going to get into it like the thumbnail said, like the title said. This situation with Usher getting, I guess, turned down supposedly on stage. Got me pulled up a young lady and she wasn't looking like she was with him. She said if it was Chris Brown, it'd have been all good. But she ain't really on Usher like that. Let me get this going, and we're gonna have fun with this.
I looked good as F. You thought I wasn't gonna let thousands of people see me on the big screen where you bees will never be. My mom and I had floor seats. Their team approached us and moved us to VIP before the show even started. Pretty privileges, something you 304s will never know about.
Say you hoes ain't gonna never know about that.
Y'all wanted me to
I get pulled out. I get flued out.
Chat folks aren't used to anything. That's the most exciting thing that would have happened in y'all little A lives. F y'all disrespectfully kissy face.
She said disrespectfully.
Now, after she said that, people were in an uproar. Okay? People were like, hold on, girl. It was never that serious. Like, people were kind of like going off. She ended up then doing an interview with one of Chris Brown's dancers. And one of the bigger interviews that she did was with TMZ. And so we're going to go ahead and dive into that and hear what she had to say. I have not heard the video at all, so I'm going to be hearing it organically, authentically with you guys.
Why weren't you into it?
It wasn't that I was into it. I was approached first and upgraded to VIP, and they don't give you any instructions on who, what, when, where, or how.
My assumption would be, though, is that if you're taken from the floor seats and you're put into a different spot, you must have some kind of idea that you're going to be on stage, because a lot of people who are going to these events are very well aware of that, right? Like, they're aware that both Usher and Chris Brown pull these women on stage. They see all these moments constantly going viral on social media. So obviously, if you were moved to a certain space, you must have had some kind of idea that something like that was going to happen.
They didn't tell you they were going to pull you on stage?
They told me that it was a possibility of me going on stage, but they didn't confirm that until it was closer to time for me to go on stage.
So we're keeping it clear, okay? You knew that you were moved over there because you were going to possibly be one of the people who could be chosen to go on stage, and you
but she wanted the young bull. She didn't want the old bull. She wanted Chris Brown. You know what I'm talking about? She wanted, let me see if you can run it. She ain't want to let it burn.
To go over there, right? Like, you didn't say, no, that's okay. I'd rather stay right here. I'm good. I'm not really into that kind of thing. You went.
And of course, you're getting to go up on stage. Why would I decline that? People are pulling the narrative that I'm in a relationship or whatever the case may be. No one can tell me the reasoning as to why I said yes to getting on stage. But you also don't know who you're going on stage for.
I hate to say it, but what she said right here doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, nobody knows why you went on stage is correct, because if you were going to act like that, then what was the point of going? If you saw that Usher was up there and they were coming to get you and say, okay, we're ready to bring you on, I believe that you could have said no. I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't force you. I'm pretty sure you could have said to them, no, I'm too shy. I can't do it. I don't want to go. You didn't do that. Like, from the video, I saw the footage of them walking you up there while Usher
is kind of cute. I don't see one thing about it. I don't like all them tattoos on the female. She kind of cute. Just a little sidebar. You know what I mean? She kind of cute, but you know, you kind of mess it up with all them tattoos. When it comes to female, it's just my opinion. When it comes to females and tattoos, you know, you really don't want to have a whole bunch of trampy looking tattoos. You know, just a few cute little, you know, heart and roses and, you know, a little tattoo of your mom or kids is cute, but just a bunch of tattoos all over the place, just, you know, it makes you look unattractive. I mean, your skin is already beautiful enough, women, that, you know, if you do body art, you know, keep it minimal, keep it cute, but just a bunch of, you know, random shit. Look like she got a bunch of random shit, you know, and that kind of messes the whole canvas up.
You were like going up there, like, you know, like you was ready to be a part of whatever was going on.
I'm going to kind of pick up what you put down there. You said, I didn't know who I was going to be pulled up on stage with. The way I see it, there are two people. There's Usher and there's Chris Brown. And that means that you were banking on Chris Brown and you got Usher and you would have been more into it with Chris Brown. Am I reading this right?
Now, this is the thing, right? I think, one, this is a very good personification of how women act like something is wrong with a man if they're not into him.
Me solely, I went to the concert for Chris Brown. It's nothing against Usher or anything like that, but I'm more of a Chris Brown fan than I am of Usher. So of course, it would have been a different reaction with Chris Brown. It would have been the stiffness or whatever.
Like, I think that's very interesting because I've seen like you know, her going around with this narrative like, oh yeah, the reason why I acted like that is just because I'm a classy queen, and you know, classy never goes out of style. To be honest, this is just my own personal opinion. No shade to anybody, but I don't feel like, you know, classy women would have went on stage, period. Okay? That's just my
Baby,
personal
can you
opinion. I don't think that would be something that
handle
would have been done in the first place, right? That's number one. But two, you're saying that, but then you're also now in the same breath saying like, oh yeah, well, you know, if it was Chris Brown, I don't
Depending
know
on who it is.
because
She will.
that's
Said
what I went
depending
there
on who
for.
it
So,
is.
you know, I definitely wouldn't have been as stiff as you guys seen in that video. So was it class that was a problem?
Baby, can you handle it?
Is that what it is? That you have so much decorum and that's why you're putting yourself together? Because that's not what it's seeming like.
It would have been a different reaction with Chris Brown. It would have been the stiffness or whatever.
You went on stage, you interacted in a certain way. I believe that you thought you were going to humiliate him or humble him or whatever it was that you were attempting to do in that moment. It backfired, and now you have smoke for the people that you were kind of like trying to play it up to, right? It doesn't make any sense to me at all. The thing that's very interesting is like, I definitely think she would be Chris Brown's type, right? We already kind of know the vibe that he kind of goes for. She's been going on tangents and consistently, you know, having the conversation and trying to plead her case. I think that she went up there for a moment. And she's using that moment to the best of her ability to build whatever platforms. Now she's creating these story times. Now she's
Let me go ahead and like this real quick. Let me shout out to the content creator, River. Y'all can go check out her original take on this. I'm going to cut this up and put my own spin on this, plus the one they did on Ricky Smiley Morning Show. But just a little shout out there.
Over her just basically going on there and acting a certain way. So it's almost like that was the plot that you went up there for. Like, it's almost like that was your intention behind the whole thing. Now, granted, for me, not going to no cherry, picking spot. Okay? Anytime that there's some cherry spot that, you know, anybody putting cherries, not interested. Anybody who's going on stage, not interested. Okay? That's just my whole MO. And so for anybody, like say for instance, she was pulled for
the last one was CB, right?
Who's going on stage, not
interested.
Yeah.
Them niggas be
okay? That's just my whole
pulling
MO.
them out there.
So for anybody, like say
that's
for
why
instance,
my wife ain't going. She ain't going without me. I don't give a damn how much you like Chris Brown, Marvin Gaye. I don't give a fuck what it is. You finna go with me. We finna sit together and we both going on stage. I'm going to take the cherries, okay, homie? And give her the cherry. We giving my bitch no cherries, nigga. And you all. Get the hell out of here.
Pulled her out the crowd and she had no idea, and then she went up there and she acted like that. I could get it, but you knew that there was a possibility for you to go on stage, and you purposely tried to turn it around
and not
that, oh, it's because you're above them, that's why
and not finna do it,
and that's why you could treat Usher like that, because you this and you all of that, and then you try to kind of like turn the situation around and make it seem like it was something it's not by using the whole classy thing. When you contradicted yourself in the interview talking about that's not what you would have done if it was Chris Brown.
Yeah, she did. She probably did go there for Chris Brown.
What you guys think about this?
And wasn't really into Usher. But on the other hand, I think she did kind of see it as an opportunity to get seen, kind of shit on Usher. Sometimes, you know, if you break up or dump somebody, and it's that, you know, or let me say it in a different way. If she can be seen as rejecting Usher, like right now, everybody gonna be like, "Oh, who is she who turned down Usher on stage and all that? He's a superstar, so who is she to turn him down?" So I think some of us, you know, have that sense to know that if I shit on Usher a little bit, you know, I'll get seen as the it girl. You know, even he wanted me, and I said no. You know, all of that shit. So, you know, it's a little bit of both. And probably if it was Chris Brown, she'd have been more cooperative and into the thing or whatnot. And I'm not thinking he was gonna slob her down on the stage, but if you go on stage and you're gonna be part of the show, right? Essentially, you're gonna be part of the show. You know, you're not gonna want to make the entertainer look, you know, bad, you know, or you know what I'm saying, in public, and not just in public, you know, on stage, you know. So, you know, they could have did it. She could have did a little slow dance and played along if she was gonna go on the stage. But that kind of icy, you know, lean back, you know, like his breath stunk or something. You know, I'm sure it was kind of off putting. And you know, he played it like a G. He said, "Get her ass up out of here." She, you know, even if she don't want to be with me, she want to be with us, Chris Brown or whatever. Then you know that could have been known before. I can see how it's embarrassing for him, but I can also understand how she thought she might have been pulled up there for Chris Brown, but you know, still could have, you know, played along better. And then who knows, maybe she could have said, "Hey, I really want to meet Chris Brown," and maybe she could have met him after the show, or they could have pulled her back up there with him or whatever. But you know, that's how it played out.
But in the end, this video thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Love you. River TV.
I'm gonna keep it rolling, man. They talking about the same thing on Ricky Smiley.
Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hard.
It's the BR18.
All right, y'all pod people, it is about that time for the hot spot. What up, Brett?
What up, Ricky? Good morning, everybody. I'm your girl, Brett
BR18.
This is the hot spot where we bring you music, movies, and more. So let's
I
get
like
on
that
right
hat though.
into
That
it.
motherfucker clean.
Well, Gabrielle Cheyenne is the girl who was brought up on stage during Usher's performance in Nashville during the R&B tour. She's speaking out after getting a lot of backlash for declining to participate on his set. So she posted this message saying, first off, nobody is declining to go on stage. I look good AF. You thought I wasn't going to let thousands of people see me on the big
Hell
screen?
no.
Where you will
She said, "You
never
finna
get."
see me."
My mom and I had floor seats. The team approached us to move us up to VIP before the show even started. Pretty privileges. Something you hoes will never
You
know
hoes don't know about
She ended
that.
the posting saying, F y'all, disrespectfully. Then she went on TMZ and she said this.
She said, "Fuck y'all."
I was approached first and upgraded to VIP.
Fuck
They
yeah.
told me that it was a possibility of me going on stage. Why would I decline that? But you also don't know who you're going on stage for.
There are two people. There's Usher and there's Chris Brown. And that means that you were banking on Chris Brown and you got Usher and you would have been more into it with Chris Brown. Am I reading this right?
Me solely, I went to the concert.
She wanted Frosty
for
Flakes
Chris
and
Brown.
got
It's nothing
Pebbles.
against
She didn't
Usher or
want that.
anything like that, but I'm more of a Chris Brown fan than I am of Usher. It would have been a different reaction with Chris Brown. It wouldn't have been the stiffness or whatever the internet is portraying.
Why you go up there?
People are so ungrateful. You got the opportunity of a lifetime to
Exactly.
go on stage with a
Right.
legend. Regardless of who it was, it's a show. Act like it's a show. You went on stage to act crazy and get...
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. B got the right take on it. You know, like, it's ungrateful. It's entitled because, I mean, like she said, she assumed because she got pretty privileged that, you know, she automatically get pulled up there. Anybody could got pulled up there, you know? And she seemed too young to really be an Usher fan. You gotta remember, Usher is in his 40s, so, you know, she seemed like she might be in her mid-20s or 20s. And mostly her life, she probably, you know, is a Chris Brown fan. But, you know, she could have played that a whole lot different. She could have played it a whole lot different. She could have went along with the show, did a little hug or dance or whatever. Thank you so much for having me up here, nothing, you know. Instead of treating the nigga like his breath stank, you know, in front of his fans and other people, you know, which is really ungrateful, but you can't teach a whole nothing.
Just bad rep. And then the answer, the thing you said, sweetheart, you should have just kept it quiet, kept it cute. Like, you pretty.
In your seat.
You are pretty, but when you start talking like that, it make you not
when they
attractive.
put you in VIP, I'm good. Thank
Yeah,
you. I'm comfortable. Thank you.
You knew you was gonna either be on stage with either Chris or Usher.
But I feel horrible for Usher.
Don't.
She ain't
make it feel no kind of way.
Yeah,
Do you know?
he don't need her.
Do you know how many
approval or
women would have
validation.
loved and traded spaces with her and just been so happy?
Usher, bring one of them aunties up on stage. They gonna
Yeah, that's what. See, that's Usher's style. He at auntie level now. Usher is at auntie level now. He gotta know what generation he at. He at Generation X and older millennials. That's who really still go crazy for us, and still, I'm Gen X. So that's the age group that still Usher was the man. You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown kind of is new gen. He younger, probably about 10 years younger. So the girls that's in their 20s and late teens and all that, they're gonna be more apt to be on Chris Brown like that. You know what I mean? So Usher really more so, he auntie level now. He'll have auntie going crazy up there. He'll have auntie eating strawberries, licking cherries, kissing him and the shit and all that on stage. But the YNs, the YGs, the young girls, they're gonna be stuck up a little bit toward Usher.
And
he can call anybody on stage and would have got a different
one of them
reaction.
chicks that drive school buses. Bring one of them on stage. That's what happened. Usher gonna have to fight them off.
Yes, sir. Can we send her some flowers or something?
Send her some flowers.
The woman.
She wouldn't be
For
grateful
what?
because they didn't come from Chris Brown. She wouldn't be grateful for the flowers.
Man,
These are not the kind of flowers that I like. She one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Oh
Pretty
man, women like that, they be acting like that. It's just such a big turn off.
It is.
My Lord.
It is.
As cute as she is, it made her that behavior made her ugly.
Exactly. She could have stayed right on in the seat she was in. Her and her mama had floor seats. Stay on back there and don't go up to VIP.
Now her mama probably would have been the one, and Usher did that to her. Her mama would have been the one slob him down. And that's what it was. Her mama, he had it mixed up. He should have brought the mom and daughter up there. Should have set the mama down, let Usher dance with the mama. Set the daughter down, let Chris Brown down. That would have been. That probably would have went off better. But yeah, Ricky is right, man. Sometimes you can be ugly by your attitude, right? And whether it's male or female, you good looking or not, confidence, humbleness, and all that go a long way. Sitting up acting like you the whole thing, the whole tea and shit, it just make you look ugly. You know what I mean? Her response to everybody, you hoes will never know nothing about pretty privilege and all that. Okay. What happened when your looks fade and you don't got no personality? You don't got nothing but being so-called cute that as a something to trade on, which happens every day, all the time. Like I said before, all them tattoos don't make you look cuter; it make you look trashy, right? So when you don't got looks to trade on, then what the fuck you gonna do? So don't act like, oh, I'm cute and I'm better than everybody and y'all hoes just mad because y'all get caught. She could have came with a more classy response than the Facebook response that she wrote.
You went up to VIP. You knew it was either one or Chris or
one of the
Usher.
two.
But y'all remember though, they came to them.
Okay,
That
but she
bet.
could have declined. If you get ready to go on stage with Usher, you could have declined. You could have said no, thank you.
Well, she could have asked who was it gonna be. She wanted to go ahead and enjoy the VIP. She said, "You think I wouldn't go on stage to let thousands of people see me?"
Yeah.
And see you
I
act
would have.
ugly.
Oh man.
It killed a good. What would have been a
Motherfucking what's my dude's name? Tyrese wrote something like, "Who is she? Who is she?" I'm at to add that video. He had me
great
cracking up.
moment.
Yeah, a
And
great
entertainment.
moment.
You could have went up there and had fun, had a good
Thousands of
time.
women would have loved to share that, trade that with you. All
Could have
the
done
women's
anything.
Concerts, That's the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm sorry.
I wish Shirley Caesar would put me up on stage and sing one of them
I
songs.
got greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, hog, dog,
And then Shirley really have a plate of greens, potato, tomato, and feed it to Ricky. Oh man, he'll go crazy.
Dance and shout and do everything.
Come on,
Okay. I'm happy to be up on stage.
Just happy.
With a legend.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You know what? We're going to wrap up the hot spot on that note. We are all grateful for any opportunities that we get, big or small.
I'm going to try to find this other John.
You know what I'm saying? So if you missed any part of the show, make sure you check it out on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. And you can catch me on my social media at SoSoBrat. And if you need some bonnets, you can go to
Nolan Wells.
This is...
It's been a story that we've been covering. It's a story that we're taking.
Where my faves at? This is what I'm looking for. All right, we're gonna switch. We're gonna turn the page a little bit. I've been wanting to go over this because this was a really good interview on Melyssa Ford's Hot and Bothered. I don't watch too much Melyssa Ford because she be on some dumb shit sometimes, but she had a good guest on her. She had Dondre Whitfield from the Cosby Show. And he really broke down kind of the current landscape with dating and men and women today and all that. So we're gonna share this and go over this and have some fun with it.
And does not contain medical advice. As always, please contact your physician or qualified healthcare provider with any questions regarding a medical condition.
The last thing that a male wants to be around is a man, because he knows that man sees him.
What does strengthening yourself look like for your wife and for your children and for yourself?
Getting more information. This is where tribe is important. I don't have any single friends. Men will always get themselves in trouble if there's nothing higher than themselves. If you are the highest of all things in your circle, in your circumference, you're in trouble.
Where my ire comes from, where my frustration comes from is disappointment, you know? And social media, for some reason, over the last few years, the amplification of these voices from the manosphere and the brosphere has women, specifically Black women, feeling shock. As a diehard New York Knicks fan, from Brooklyn, how did their
Brooklyn Zoo?
Were you crying?
I wasn't crying. I was just thinking about all of the years where we weren't good, all of the years that we were good, all of the years where we were literally one player away. And I feel like and I hate turning, everybody's going to be like, of course you did that. Because everything becomes philosophical.
I'm going to kind of skip through the Knicks shit.
Looking at the New York,
the Knicks.
New York journey, the Knicks journey in particular, all of our lives are like the Knicks.
In what way?
We are one thing away from being the greatest ever.
Oh.
And if we just stick to it until we get the missing piece, we all win championship.
That is profound.
We all win championship.
That is profound. So
most of us give up on our championship because we're unwilling to endure the dry seasons where no one's showing up, where it looks like everything that we're doing, the hard work that we're putting in, is in the dark. We go unrecognized. It's painful. Doubt sets in.
Naysayers are loud.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes so much that you dismantle all of the things. Remember?
Yeah, like he's starting to say, you know, it takes time. You know, life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so many times we'll get to looking at other people sprinting and getting out in front of us, either in their career or making money. And we'll have the idea that, you know, we're behind or something, instead of just sticking to our grind, staying in our lane, you know. there's a saying in the military that pertains to the gun range where we say stay in your lane, right? And in life it's so hard to stay in your lane, run your race, right? Learn, be disciplined, and put your stuff together, and don't pay attention to what's going on and who looks like they getting ahead of you, because it's fool's gold. It's a lot of shit out there where you can make money fast or get ahead fast looking like, and it dissipates real quick. Like I said, it's not a sprint. It's not who sprints out first. It's who stays in the race. And a lot of people miss that part. They take their eye off the ball, right? And they get into competing with the Joneses, keeping up with how they dress, keeping up with how they. Most people spend more money looking like they successful than actually taking the time to become successful. He finna go.
You have all the pieces already. Mm-hmm. You're one piece away. But because all of that becomes so painful, we all most of us dismantle it before we actually
too soon.
There's one piece of this whole puzzle that I don't feel like anybody's really touched on, that I think is a part of why they won. And it ties into my desire to talk to you today.
Okay.
The lead cast of the Knicks, they're all family men.
Yeah.
They're all family men who openly love their families, openly love their spouses. They are dedicated. In the past, being a part of the New York Knicks, it is one of the greatest sports franchises in history, one of the richest sports franchises in history. It is one of the most expensive teams. It's like literally the New York Knicks, there's the New York Yankees, there's the Patriots, like there's, Boston Red Sox. Right. I mean, these are the most expensive teams in sports, in sports worldwide. And when you come to New York, there's going to be a little bit of temptation. Just a little bit of a lot of temptation. You have the world literally at your feet. And I think by way of watching over the course of years and decades, that when players come to New York and then they become the king of New York, there's a lot of temptation to deal with. And that can get a lot of young men in trouble. And a lot
take temptation, specifically talking about women, right? And when you're a professional athlete, man, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Cheers to you for making it to the pros and all that. But you got a job to do. You have to stay on your game. You have to eat right. You have to exercise right. You have to stay on top of your game. And sometimes those distractions for young players are too much for them to actually, progress in their career, and that's why they burn out. And the average career is like 3-4 years because so many of them don't focus on their career. Like they saying here, though, the teams that kind of put out all the distractions, focus on their goals, personal goals, team goals, those are the ones that end up succeeding in life. And it's a lesson to be learned to every man. Focus on your goals. Focus on where you're going. Take your mind off distractions. That distraction may be love and relationships and drugs and partying and all that. Take your mind off that. Focus on your profession. Focus on your goals. You'll get a whole lot more championships in life than if you keep succumbing to the distractions.
And a lot of scandal has followed. A lot of players.
A lot of old men, too.
Oh, child, trust me, I know. But the temptation is sometimes just so great that it gets in their way and the distraction becomes so great. And that's where the fragmentation can happen. You know what I'm saying? And also, huge part, none of them seem to have egos. None of them seem to have egos. This team is a team that coalesced together. There's no I in team, and it's said for a reason. And they truly, truly acted as one organism moving throughout the court and just having this. It was just like the same brain. You know what I'm saying? And also just understanding, just how to feed, like into each other, what they needed at that moment. There was a moment, I forget which game it was. It might have been Game Forward. Josh Hart missed a layup or something like that. And 3 of his team members ran to him, pick him up and say, it's fine. We got this. We got this. And it was just like, I think that was why so many men are suddenly finding their emotions and crying so openly, because you got to see so much strength and vulnerability. So much strength and vulnerability on that court and throughout that entire finals run. It was really beautiful to see. It's so layered. But the thing that I appreciate the most, why I'm wearing this t-shirt today, thanks to my friend Mike, just Mike the Poet, and because you're here, is because good men do exist.
Yes, they do.
Good men still exist, and we saw a master class in healthy masculinity. Yeah. It's sports. It's the NBA. Grr, you know what I mean? And what we saw was just a master class in what healthy masculinity looks like.
I'm going to push back a little bit right here, because Dondre is about to cook in this episode. It's the main reason I put it on this specific episode, and I may have to do it in 2 parts because I may have to go. But Dondre dropped some gems here. I think it's well needed for both men and women. But I'm going to push back right here because, you know what I'm saying, you don't want to have women defining what healthy masculinity is. Okay? Healthy masculinity can only be taught. Men can teach men how to be men. Okay? Women have their idea of what masculinity should be that fits what they want. But those 2 things can be separate. Right? So that's just my little point right here. Big up to Melyssa Ford for, wearing the Good Men Still Exist shirt and all of that. But it's not up to her. It's not up to any other women to tell young men what masculinity is or should be. Because they'll tell you masculinity ought to be all the things that benefit them. Anyway, I'll go deep in that later.
Did you feel that too while you were watching it? Did you process it the same way?
I look at like I said earlier, everything means something to me.
Yeah.
Everything. Like I can extract stuff from you. Like from that, you can pull lessons from just about everything if you're looking.
Yeah.
And I'm a constant learner, so I'm always looking. If you look at all of those men, look at how present fathers are in all of those stories. If you look at Jalen Brunson and his father Rick,
absolutely.
If you looked at certain exchanges throughout the season, Jalen could have been complaining to referees. He could have found we're all made of flesh. We're all going to drop the ball from time to time. You saw Rick say, "Hey, stop your crying. Stop your crying." He's talking to a grown man. He's talking to his son. He's talking
his
to
son
a
playing
grown
the
man.
NBA. This is to the point I said a while ago. Men understand what young men need or young grown men need to stay focused, right? All of that crying to the ref. You could tell him, his dad, have the father-son relationship, that many young boys wish they had. Kind of remind me of Furious and Trey from Boys in the Hood, right? Your daddy will hold you to standard. A good dad, a present dad, will hold you to standard. Another dad that I've always liked that's been in the news, people clown him, is LeVar Ball. I always love how LeVar Ball kept his sons focused on the business of their family. Say whatever you want to say about, how, crazy or or how outlandish he is, he's always shown himself to be a present dad, whether that's appear to be stern or mean or whatever. Men teach young men how to mature. And oftentimes it's the things that young men that are growing up without fathers or growing up under single mothers, you can tell they're missing kind of like that logic and that bigger picture on discipline as a man.
Who is the leader of that team, but realizing my son needs to be reminded that this is the key to getting yourself back on track and becoming your best self.
You gotta stay on track. You gotta stay focused.
Men will always get themselves in trouble if there's nothing higher than themselves present. So if you don't have a divine connection, and then you don't have a lateral connection
with family,
where you allow yourself to be held to account. If you are the highest of all things in your circle, in your circumference, you're in trouble.
Bravo, first of all. Yes, I completely agree with that. And one of the most beautiful things about the New York Knicks winning and Jalen Brunson being the leader of the team and Rick Brunson being part of the coaching staff is A, their bond, B, that if nobody believed in destiny, this would definitely, challenge that notion that there's no such thing as destiny.
Yeah.
That was really formidable to watch. But yeah, I think that highlighted for a lot of people just how important a father or father figure is in a young man's life.
Absolutely. And let me just throw a caboose on that train.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of those guys on that team, to a man, I'm sure that if you ask them, that they would tell you that Rick is a bonus dad to them. You understand? So now, watch this. We look at all of these basketball players throughout in the NBA. So many have so many great skill sets for basketball. And then they step off the court.
And they don't handle
it. And in their personal lives, turnover after turnover after turnover
after turnover.
Great analogy.
Why? Because they're being coached for the basketball court. They've been given information and instruction to develop skill sets to deal with the adversity that happens on the court. Who's coaching their manhood to deal with the adversity off the court?
Nobody, it seems.
Okay, so now when we talk about this Knicks team, when you've got a bonus dad in somebody like Rick and a father to Jalen in Rick, now you've got information and instruction not only being given to deal with the adversities on the court, but also how to deal with those adversities off the court and some of the adversities that extend past the court, where it looks like they're dealing with basketball issues, but really they're dealing with manhood issues. Every single man, and I talk about this all the time, every single man has to have information and instruction, be coached about how to deal with things, adversities that are going to come at them at full speed all day, every day. As a husband of 23 years, but with the same woman for 28 years, I have to constantly strengthen myself in order to strengthen myself as a husband, as a father.
But what does that look like? What does strengthening yourself look like for your wife and for your children and for yourself?
Getting more information, getting more instruction.
And where do you get it from, though?
So
if somebody's lost,
yes,
and they do not know where to go,
yeah,
but they desire to have more discipline, more structure, and they're looking for guidance from a male figure, say, point them in the right direction.
So you gotta have. This is where tribe is important.
Exactly. We are not individuals blowing in the wind. We're stronger together as a tribe. So, back in tribal days, you had a chief and chieftains that taught the younger boys. They had crucibles that taught them coming of age. We don't have that today, right? We have a generation of young men that's lost on how to be men, that's often instructed that even though we need men, we don't want you to behave as men. Or if you behave as men, you're being toxic. So there's confusion around it. And so there's confusion about where to go. For me, I would say I went through a lot of growth in the military, in the Army, right? My dad was present, is present, but kind of, wasn't a strong presence. I kind of did what I wanted before I went to the military. But I got a lot of, not just being in the Army, but the men that I met in the Army, 18, 19, 20, 21, that helped me understand what responsibility looked like as a grown-ass man and not, the teenager that I was.
Okay. I don't have any single friends. I'm going to say that one more time. I don't have any single friends.
Okay.
And the reason why is because the vast majority of single dudes want to do single stuff.
Yeah, they do.
You got me?
Mm-hmm. They're not sitting at home knitting.
I'm a married man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a father of 2. I'm a community man. So my tribe is full of men who are in committed relationships, whether they're married or not, committed relationships, and who are also committed to strengthening and building those around them. That's what holds me to account.
Can I tell you what my
bigger
algorithm looks like? Child.
Not taking off the glasses.
Because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, okay? Because I have seen you on social media, in the gym with the boys.
Yes.
I have seen you on social media talking on other podcasts.
That's my hunter self.
Yes, apparently so.
Yes.
And yeah.
The human is the one that I bring home, but the hunter has to show up so that my wife goes,
Yeah. But I mean, the conversation is pretty much the same. It seems that you are around like-minded individuals.
Yes.
And it also seems like if they are not of like mind, they get kicked out. If they cannot be schooled or coached,
yes,
then they are removed.
Yes.
So the other place
that's part of keeping your circle tight.
Talking about being in public spaces like a grocery store, and you let any sister know, while I am here,
come find me.
Come find me if you need anything. If you need protection, safety, you need me walk to your car. I'm covering. I have got you.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I first heard you say that, I thought to myself, what would I do with that if somebody said that? Because
hopefully you would use it.
I would like to think that I would.
Hopefully you would use it.
But in this day and age, it is hard to believe that a man would have such pure altruistic intentions
to cover you and not try to covet you.
Amen and hallelujah. Speak to the church. Yes. Yes, exactly. So let me tell you a little bit about my algorithm, which is why I wear this shirt, to let everybody know that I am not the man hater that some people are labeling me as. First of all, it's just so cheap and easy to call me that, because the actual truth is how much I do love men.
I can feel that in everything that I can just feel it.
Yeah.
I'm a big brother, so I can feel that.
So where my ire comes from, where my frustration comes from is disappointment, you know? And social media, for some reason, over the last few years, the amplification of these voices from the manosphere and the brosphere has women, specifically Black women, feeling shock and just like aghast and
hold on, wait a minute. Gotta give my look on that. Let her go. Let me let her go.
And saddened and full of sorrow at how at how our Black men regard us. Mm-hmm. You know, how openly they disparage us.
Let me say this. Nobody's perfect. Men and women have been shitty to each other online for a long time. But it ain't new. It didn't start with manosphere or it didn't start with feminist content. It goes back further than all of us. When I was a kid, I remember going to the barbershop and beauty salons in Waco, and you would go into the barbershop was on one side, the beauty salon was on the other side. And you would go into the barbershop and you would hear those men talking about their wife like they was dogs in the street. Bitch ain't finna get no more of my money. She think we finna do this and do that. Shit, she need to make her own money. She want all that. I'm telling you, they would talk about them bad. And then me being 7 years old, 8 years old, I like to go back and forth. So I would go over to the beauty salon, which was right on the other side of the barbershop, and see the wives on the other side. And guess what they were talking about? They husbands. Like they was dogs on the street, like they couldn't make no money, like they couldn't fuck, like all of that shit. And then at the end of the day, those husbands and those wives will come right back together, go right out the door, hugging, kissing, smiling each other's face. And as a 7-year-old, that made me laugh my ass off. So, that being said, all of the, battle of the sexes BS has gone on since the beginning of time. It's the reason why it's amplified is because of the technology that we have, with social media and the internet. And so it becomes a megaphone whenever you have a voice that's feminist and they go viral, like Shira 7 or something like that. Or if you have a voice that goes viral like Kevin Samuels did or some other guy, then it makes it seem like, this is, and then it gets echoed. It makes it seem like this is new and all the men are chiming in or all the women are chiming in. But it's just, social media has just amplified, right? So I can't really call the beginning out like men started this or women started this. There's been a battle of the sexes going on since Adam and Eve. And somehow, some way, we keep reproducing. So it must not be that bad.
And I'm not, and this is where you get the whole not all men thing. Mm-hmm. It's too complicated to dumpster dive to find the one morsel of food that hasn't been contaminated. Mm-hmm. Because when I say the cacophony of noise is so overwhelming, mm-hmm. that at this point, I just don't even date. Mm-hmm. I just go to the park with my dogs. I can't go through
that hurts my heart. As a big brother, that hurts my heart. We'll get to that in a second.
I cannot go through another talking stage mm-hmm. just to find out that this is somebody who is deceitful and mm-hmm. dishonest. It just runs the gamut. And then when you do see the men like yourself, like a Deontay Kyle from Grits and Eggs, like a Mr. Jason Wilson, when you see the good guys, mm-hmm. Who are, trying to make a difference and trying to be, promote a healthy, examination of masculinity, you go into the subject and then all you see is simp and panderer and all of these accusations that your actions are only derived from this desire to appeal to women mm-hmm. in order to, achieve something right. or be given something.
Right.
And that in itself is so disheartening as well.
Yep.
It's so frustrating to see that. So when women are, generalizing men and guys are like, well, not all guys. I'm like, well, there's a reason why we chose the bear. There's a reason why we chose the bear, and don't get me started about the bear because I've had almost fist fights about the goddamn bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a picture of what my algorithm looks like. A bunch of fed up women who are decentering the idea of a man being in their lives,
and it's foolish and unhealthy to blame an entire sex for, maybe your bad experiences with men or even your bad experiences with women. The reality of it is, it's shitty people everywhere. It's shitty women. It's shitty men. It's selfish women, selfish men. Right? And what needs to happen as you mature is you become better at picking quality people to roll it with in your circle, first of all, your friend circle. And then you become better at picking quality mates or quality people that have qualities of honesty, integrity, right? Selflessness, not selfishness, right? If you keep running into the same guy, then it may be something that's attractive about that outlaw type guy that you keep picking. Or vice versa. If a dude keeps saying women ain't shit, all they want is your money, then you keep being attracted to the big booty thirst trap types. And you need to own that, right? And you need to evaluate people in your life better so that in your personal relationship, your friendships, and your relationships especially, you have a set of standards that if the person comes into your circle and they don't fit your standards of integrity, you know how to, you don't gotta say nothing to them, but you know how to just exclude them from your circle. Stop spending time with them. Stop giving them energy, right? Instead of blaming an entire, all the men, all the women, which is kind of foolish.
Just living their lives like it's golden because they got good friend groups and they travel and they're just expanding their worldview on what a full and meaningful life looks like, excluding men and the men that are really, really angry about it and call us everything from like spinsters to old, washed up, and all the other things I find in my comment section. So that's what my algorithm looks like. I want to get your take on what women in general are seeing with regularity and is hope dangerous for us?
No, one. So there's so much. Okay, so let me start with whenever I see a woman who is stuck in the state of leading with her masculinity, I recognize that is a hurt sister who is trying desperately to protect her femininity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So whenever I see it, I am urged to triage my sister's heart.
I love that word, triage,
because that she's been injured.
Mm-hmm.
What I also want you to know is, but I wrote a book called Male versus Man. That is a book on manhood.
Please send me a copy of that.
Listen.
I'm going to read that from cover to cover.
If you look on, I'm not trying to plug Amazon, but I have to use it as an example. If you look on Amazon right now, that book, in an age where you're not even allowed to talk about manhood, that book is rated probably 4.7 out of 5 stars.
Congratulations.
The reviews are upwards of 1,500.
Now, I'll say this. He made some news over some comments about 2 years ago. And I don't agree with every take that he has about, coming of age as a man and manhood and masculinity and how that fits into being a father and things like that. I don't agree with everything, but he's definitely got some gems here and in there that we're going to examine closer as we go on. I'm probably going to have to do 2 parts of this long ass video. I'm probably get 2 parts breaking down and getting really some commentary so that we can go into the comments and really open a discussion and dialogue on this topic. So just bear with me. But like I said, he's going to cover some gems. He's going to cover some things that I may disagree with, and then we'll talk about it.
Women. And the reason why that book is resonating with so many, both men and women, is because the premise behind it is that males look to be served while men look to be of service.
Oh, she like that. She like that part. She like them too.
As a woman,
but I get where he's going. A man has to be the backbone. There's a certain part of selflessness that comes with manhood that, everybody kind of leans on. Whether you want to say you don't need a man or not. The world needs men. The world needs good men. The world needs selfless men. Okay? So he's got a point there, right? And the man could be very selfish. I think today's men have become very selfish from being told, or today's males, pardon me, have become very selfish from being told that they're not needed. And so there's no incentive to go from boy, male to man to become that man that covers if you're steady being told that that's not needed from you anymore. So then you become selfish and you only cover and take care of yourself, which is bad as a whole to society in general, right? We don't want to break down what has worked for thousands of years in general, but it's been chipped away by maybe feeling like we need to elevate women, and we've been spotlighting their accomplishments, and they're so powerful, but then also kind of creating this culture into where as soon as you pop up masculine, as soon as you pop up, in the position of authority, we don't need that no more. We don't need you anymore. Let me tell you something. It's hard to protect something that you have no say-so or authority with. So that's just part of the submission and protection thing goes together, right? And we got to reconcile that. The submission and protection actually goes together. You can't ask me to protect you with my life or to provide for you with my hard work with absolutely no cooperation or submission coming from the female side. That's gonna piss some people off. But that is the real nature's balance. We have to figure out how to work this piece out.
So the book is How to Honor Women, Teach Children, and Elevate Men to Change the World. So the book isn't just for men. It's for women too. Because if our sisters don't know, okay, let me sort of reverse engineer this for a second. Many of our sisters have been taught how to either look at a guy's pecs, paper, or penis.
Okay.
The conversation goes with her girl, look at
1, 2, or 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Now, the guys, the males, who have not matriculated into manhood because they haven't received proper information and instruction, remember the coaching, they get stuck in maleness. So they've got all of the stuff that make them look like men. They got facial hair, they got all of the, right, the accoutrements of success, all of that. It makes them appear as men. But really, they're still stuck in the mental, emotional, spiritual capacity of boys. And what they've been taught are the tenets of what masculinity is, but not manhood. So they've been taught how to work on their pecs because what they've been told is your manhood is measured in how strong you are. they've been taught that
get fit, get rich.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So now your manhood is measured up against how much paper you make.
Mm-hmm.
Or your penis. How many women have you slept with?
Mm-hmm.
None of those things have anything to do with manhood.
Zero.
Mm-hmm. So now we've got two sides.
They can be fun. Let me stop. Yeah, but definitely that's the surface level, right? I can remember being young and being kind of in competition with friends and having conversations about, you know, how many hoes you got, or how many bitches you was with this week or month, or I need to get laid. And the only thing that drive you is how many girls you can pull, right? It's not until you reach a point where goals and success and elevating and reading and education and wisdom drives you almost to the same level of an experience with a woman would have driven you back in the past. That's when you know you've matured. When you're more exciting about, you know, getting better, getting wiser, getting, you know, more successful in your career than you are about chasing women.
That have been misled about what manhood is.
Mm-hmm.
So our sisters have been taught to look for men based on those three areas.
Mm-hmm.
Our brothers have been taught that these are the three areas that their manhood is measured up against. And really, both sides are lost.
But I think...
Yes, and both sides, that's what makes it hard, right? We have a miseducation to where, okay, so you're telling me that's not manhood. My money, my fitness, that's not manhood. But to some degree, my lived experience shows me that that's what the women are reacting to. So you have to come to an understanding. Both sides are miseducated about what it takes to be a man of integrity or a woman of integrity, and those things you know, those exterior things are just that, exterior.
I think things are changing drastically right now.
They're trying.
So, well, here's what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is that women, by and large, this is the first full generation of women that no longer need to get married or be with men for provision or protection.
Yes.
Mistake.
This is the first. So just
yes.
That's a mistake to think or say that. This generation or no other generation will be in a position that they can survive, sustain without each other, and definitely women without men. It can feel that way, right? You can make your own money, you elevate to get your own paper. You know what I'm saying? You can sustain yourself, but if you're missing the protect, and maybe you don't feel like you don't need a man romantically, and that's more so maybe where she's going. But society, whether it be your brother, your dad, your uncles, women need men. Women need the support and the strength and the covering of the family or the tribe, right? And that's always been headed by the strength of the men that keeps everybody protected. So the idea that you can just pick up from one city, move to LA as a female with no covering, no family, no backing, you don't need men, you don't need protection, is a fallacy that I would hate, that, you know, that I wish that women would stop telling themselves, right? Because yes, you can go make the money, but who gonna protect the house? Who gonna protect home base when you out making the money? You wasn't given no traps and you was given hips for childbirth. We was given shoulders for protection, right? Let me let her keep going.
First time.
But this is also one of our problems. Ironically,
that's a problem.
Hold on. So what women are now asking for is we're asking for a man to come to the table who has a certain level of self-development. We're looking for EQ. We're looking for curiosity, intellectual curiosity. We're looking for somebody who has empathy. We're looking for somebody who understands the nature of partnership. Women are generally speaking.
And this is honorable what she's saying, but we also have to understand that when we're looking for the opposite sex, opposites attract, right? You're not going to find your girlfriend in your man. You're not going to find some of the traits that you would find, you know, in you want your man to be your girlfriend. And then same thing with men. You want your woman to be something that she's not, right? Sometimes I get a little, flustered with my woman. She's very empathetic. She's very patient with people, more patient than I am. But I have to understand that that's why I fell in love with her. Those opposites attract. And some of those things, those rough edges about men, they're not intended to be corrected. That's what attracted you to me in the first place. So, and I'm not your girlfriend. I'm your man. So it's going to be a totally different thing. So we can't confuse the two and wish that our mate was thought exactly like we did, because then, we wouldn't have nothing to build on. He's going to go into kind of the north view and south view, which I think illustrates that perfectly.
But a lot of women are not very interested in fulfilling, specific gender roles, like I cook, I clean, you take the garbage out type. Women are looking for partnerships because a lot of the women we're talking about are extraordinarily self-sufficient and especially financially sufficient. So there is the need for partnership.
Listen, we're going to need to take a little break right here. I got to take a little break. I'm going to jump right back in about an hour, pick up the second half of this. This video has another hour and 20 minutes. So we're going to really get into the meat and potatoes. We're just kind of building up that first part. So the next time we're going to get really into the meat and potatoes of the conversation they're having here. So come back in about an hour and we'll continue.